Napoleon Bonaparte, one of the greatest military minds in history, a man whose strategies reshaped Europe. He conquered empires, defeated coalitions, and built a legacy that would echo for centuries. But in the summer of 1807, something happened that no general, no textbook, and no battlefield could have prepared him for. Because this time, Napoleon would face his strangest enemy yet. Not an army of men, not a nation's resistance, but a horde of rabbits. Yes, you heard that right. Rabbits. It all began after the signing of the Treaty of Tilsit, a peace agreement between France and Russia that marked the height of Napoleon's power. To celebrate his diplomatic triumph, the emperor decided to host a grand hunting party, a day of sport, relaxation, and victory. He instructed his chief of staff, Alexandre Berthier, to organize the event. "Make it spectacular," Napoleon said. "Bring plenty of game for the men." Berthier took his orders seriously, perhaps too seriously. He sent out word to gather hundreds, maybe even thousands of rabbits. Some accounts say as many as 3,000 were collected for the occasion. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Instead of sourcing wild hares from the countryside, Berthier's team bought tame, domesticated rabbits from local farmers. Rabbits that were used to being fed by humans. Rabbits that saw people not as hunters, but as lunch providers. On the big day, the carriages rolled out. The emperor's entourage was in high spirits. The sun was shining, muskets were polished, and the champagne was ready to pop. Napoleon himself, dressed immaculately with that trademark confidence, prepared for what he thought would be an easy victory. Then the cages were opened, and that's when chaos erupted. Instead of scattering across the fields like proper prey, the rabbits turned and charged. Thousands of fluffy bodies surged forward, bounding toward Napoleon and his men. At first there was laughter. Surely it was a mistake. But within seconds, laughter turned to confusion. Then panic. The rabbits were relentless. They swarmed across the field like a tide of fur and whiskers. They climbed up the soldiers' boots, jumped onto laps, and even leapt into carriages. Napoleon's elite guards tried to shoo them away with whips and muskets, but it was hopeless. No formation could withstand the onslaught of determined, hungry bunnies. Napoleon, the man who had faced the armies of Europe, now faced an invasion unlike any other. As the story goes, he retreated, laughing, shouting, and swatting away rabbits that clung to his uniform. His carriage had to be driven off the field, with rabbits still chasing behind it. An emperor defeated. Not by Britain, not by Russia, but by an army of rabbits. It's said the event became the stuff of legend among his men. Soldiers joked that the rabbits had been led by a cunning General Flopsy. And while historians debate how exaggerated the tale became over time, the truth remains. Napoleon really did lose control of a rabbit hunt that day. It was a rare moment of absurdity in the life of a man known for absolute control. A reminder that even the greatest conqueror in history was still at the mercy of nature, and occasionally of his own bad planning. Afterward, Napoleon reportedly laughed about it. He could defeat nations, but rabbits? That was another matter entirely. The rabbit battle became one of those bizarre anecdotes history loves to hide between wars and treaties. A snapshot of humanity in the midst of greatness, a reminder that power and pride can be humbled by the smallest of creatures. So the next time you think you've got everything under control, remember Napoleon. Remember the rabbits, and remember that even history's mightiest figures have their ridiculous moments. Because in the end, every empire, no matter how great, must sometimes bow to the unexpected. And in 1807, that unexpected force just happened to be a fluffy, unstoppable bunny brigade. Even the greatest conquerors can't win against nature, and sometimes the tiniest creatures leave the biggest impact. Subscribe, like, and follow for more fascinating history facts.